Hey, it's on. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are back. We are live. In case you're confused and wondering who I am, my name is Antonio Bryce. I am the creator of the comic book series Brand and its upcoming sequel, Brand Way of the Gun. You can get on the mailing list in the description right there. Just click on the description there, and there's a link for it. There's also a link for a book called, was it Rockabilly
Roadtrip?
Yeah, Rockabilly Roadtrip. I've got it, but it's in the thing. It's matter of fact, it's the very first link you'll see in the description. But we have a returning champion here on today's broadcast. Please welcome to the show, Preston Asevedo. How are you,
Champion
sir?
might be a loose use of that word, but I'll take it.
It's good to have you back. Well, you were on. You had your book, Doc Salem.
Yeah, Doc Salem's about to relaunch too. In February, the pre-campaign's going to start.
Now you didn't make your goal on that. You were close though, weren't you? You were close.
No, I made maybe a quarter of the total goal, and it just wasn't enough to complete the project. But since then, I mean, if you give up, then you're defeated.
Well, I've been seeing your art on a few things. You did some work for Mike Murphy, The Gods Fear Me.
I did, but I was trying to help Mike out because Mike was falling really short of his campaign. So I kind of threw him a pin up. This is the way I guess I think a little bit different than most people. I think that art has a way of making things right.
Yeah.
So
you did this gorgeous piece of monster and stuff, and I was like, hey, okay, great.
Well, that's just the thing. Like, you guys have a huge following as far as subscribers and people who follow you on Twitter, and at the time I didn't have that. So I figured the best way for me to help out would be to go ahead and do them a piece, let them use it as an alternate cover, and then go ahead and put the original art as the tier. And it actually worked. It made them a good bit of money off of for The Gods Fear Me.
There you go, man.
But as far as Doc Salem, like I said, if you quit, you're defeated. If you don't quit, then you maybe lost the battle, but you never lost the war. So that war is still going on with Salem.
I would also say if you do not, if it do not fit, you must have quit. I would also say that. That is one of those. I learned that rhyming things confuses people, and so by that definition, you've already won. But
that's why Doc Salem's coming back, though, is because it never made its goal. But I still finished the book, and the book's going to be put out. Yeah.
Did you just go ahead and just keep working on it anyway, or
absolutely? Yeah, okay, and also got a new colorist on board because that was one of the main things people complained. I thought the cell shade technique was good, but a lot of people didn't like that. They didn't think it fit my style, so I went ahead and hired a new color. The same colors for Rockabilly Roadtrip, as a matter of fact.
I thought you had a decent colorist. So
I did too.
I guess I'm wrong. I'm just saying, but at the same point in time, you do have to listen to the people that you're trying
absolutely. Especially the people who have like successful campaigns like yourself. When they give you advice, you want to take it to heart. Because their method is proven.
Because I have seen some campaigns where I thought colors look like shit.
You can't say anything about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey,
that's the thing. There's been some campaign. At least if I have some concern, because I've had people ask me, "Hey, look at this. What do you think?" And sometimes you have to be honest.
Yeah,
there are a few people that I've seen. They launch these campaigns and they think they have these monster ideas and all that, and it's just utter garbage, and then they're wondering.
If somebody asks for your opinion, then they're putting their head out there for the chopping block. You see what I'm saying? So at that point, that's it. All bets are off. You can say whatever you want at that point. And so yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I've seen some stuff where I was like, how? It's got to be like a. It's got to be just the idea of the project, because the project itself does not look that good. Well,
that's the thing. I don't know. I try to make sure that I have, at least for my own personal campaign, I have the whole package.
Yeah, but you took advice from people too, right? I mean, like it's not
When I took the advice that I took was, well, let me see. I took advice on some of the tiers. I took advice on the pricing.
Yeah.
Um, and one of the big things is I took some advice from Edwin Boyette when I was first starting to come into a more prominent visibility within Comicsgate. He had taken me under his wing and gave me a lot of advice about things to change. And one of those was, beefing up the role that Dawn, the character that becomes David Craven's wife later on in Brand. He had given me some advice to maybe beef her role up a little bit, because it was going to be the first story arc is supposed to be centered around David, and which is why I was going to do solo Dawn stories. A lot of the material pertaining to Dawn in this first book, and which would the storyline that I will continue in Way of the Gun, is stuff that I had planned on telling in. I was planning on doing my main Brand story, and then I was going to split all the characters off. I mean, she's still going to be married to David, but it's like when you get Batman and Robin, and then you give Robin a spinoff book. Every now and again, Batman shows up, but he's still Batman and Robin. You know what I'm saying? So it was going to be the main Brand stories, which was going to be featuring David Craven, and Dawn would be the sidekick in that. And then I was going to do some Dawn Craven storylines, and they would actually, matter of fact, it would just be like Dawn Craven, and then it would be like a Brand story underneath, something like that.
I totally get that, and I'm actually doing a little something like that with Doc Salem too. Another thing that's going to be kicking off with the relaunch of Doc Salem is that I've talked to a couple of the other Comicsgate guys, and we're going to be doing a Comicsgate crossover between universes. So it's going to be Doc Salem, Doc Alpha, and that's the Literature Devils guy.
Yeah, I had him. He was. He was on. Yeah, he was on. What was it, a couple months ago? And it was so funny because he was actually, he was actually thinking, even though he had raised, I think at that time he had raised about $13,000, and he was thinking that he might not reach, where he was gonna, where he.
Yeah, he set his goal really high, but he smashed it.
And I told him, I said, I think you're gonna hit it. And what happened was, obviously he killed it. He knocked it out of the park and made his goals and everything. But I was like, dude, the book looks good.
Oh yeah, and the concept behind the book too is amazing. I love that it's all about a supervillain,
And he's telling it from the villain's perspective, and so
also
I thought that was cool.
Six Gun Gorilla is also going to be part of the crossover.
Brian Christgau. Yes.
Yeah, Brian's a great guy. I love that dude. And he's had some issues lately with
but I was first person to have him on, which he'll tell you. But
and it's such a great concept, like Six Gun Gorilla. Like I mean, come on, dude.
I saw that, and I didn't even know. Apparently, Kanan had done a cover for him a few years ago.
Yeah,
back when, and he just hadn't used it or whatever.
And Kanan's your guy, right?
Like yes, that's my dude. He's a nut. He gets on my nerves all the time. So. I tell Kanan will laugh. I'll be like, Kanan, you drive me out of my mind. I cannot wait. I got to fly him out here when the books come in. So I got to fly him out here so he can sign books. And we're going to do, because someone asked when I was on Cecil's channel the other day, they asked me when, we were going to do the director's commentary. I could do it. We could just do it over StreamYards, which I could do it, so, I could just have Kanan do it from his home or whatever right now. But I figured, hell, he's going to actually be here. So why not have him sitting here with me and be like, okay, so let's open this book up and actually go through the pages and all that. And, and actually, have him sitting right next to me when we do it. So I see more people showing up in the chat. What's up, Chauncey, Jalapeno Milk, Zay, Comic, Shinto, Catch Up. Hi, guys. Yeah. Magic Cop, baby. Get it.
But there's also room in this crossover for other guys too. Like, I mean, if you want to put Brand in there, or you want to have a cameo or something like that, and I think it's good. It's a good flow for all of Comicsgate to go ahead and be involved in something like this. And
well, I actually had an idea. It was a while back because people were talking about like maybe Shinobi Sasquatch and doing and Brand, because it's got supernatural creatures in it, obviously. And that would work with Brand. But the one I really wanted, I'm a fan of Von Klaus.
Me too.
So that was and me and him were, he's actually real cool people. And we were DMing each other, and I had an idea. I don't, for doing maybe a Monster MD and Brand. I thought that would be dope. And never
honest,
say never.
Like you guys that like have these wildly successful campaigns are extremely intimidating to approach.
Well, I didn't. I said, this is I failed. That's the thing. I failed 3 times.
You failed 3 times?
Well, 2 times. The third time would have failed if not for either.
Yeah.
I was like
that like Brian had the same thing with Six Gun Gorilla, and I'll be honest, like the support I got from other guys in Comicsgate when I had to cancel a Doc Salem campaign was incredible. Like, I mean, you guys came out of the woodwork. It was like, it's all right. You just it failed once. That doesn't mean anything.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you didn't give up. I'm glad you didn't give up, because I definitely think you're.
It was a hit to the ego. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like,
I mean, I like the way the art looked and all that, and like I said, I thought your colors used kind of more of a old school 4-color style, which I thought was kind of retro, and I thought it was cool.
I did too.
So now, like I said, I could take one of your pieces and have my man Icarus bless it, and it would look a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm saying he could tell you, like, you say you did a pinup, and I would have
like
say
maybe a Brand Doc Salem pinup.
Actually, we could make that happen. You can do that.
And then Shinobi. Oh my God, that thing sold in like an hour after being put as a tier.
I mean, you could. I mean, because you do traditional art, and you could do it. You put it up as all that kind of thing. And like I said, you just holler at my man Icarus and let him bless it, because Icarus. That's one thing. Whether I've gotten flooded ever since I sent out the PDF, because I can't wait to get I like the way the final files looked. It's so much work. I never expected it to be this much work, because Kanan turned in the last page in like October, and I was like, God, we still had like 15 pages, 20 pages of color. And so then I'm sitting here, okay, he's coloring, okay, finally the last page of colored art, letterings being put on the pages, all this kind of thing. It was too much, man. I was like, wow.
Your colorist is really good, dude.
Yeah, my colorist has been in the business for like 14 years.
Yeah.
And
that kind of, I mean, yeah, that's good that he's been working so long, but I've seen some really bad colorists
my colorist, we had this great colorist that colored a lot of my early stuff, and I thought he was going to be on the campaign for Brand, and he did not want to be associated with Comicsgate.
I know. I had the same thing happen to me.
Well, he's working professionally. He did not want to be associated with Comicsgate. And so I started trying a few colorists out. And matter of fact, when it happened, I had been on Ethan's channel. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna lose my letterer, lose my colorist and all this. And I got a couple people DM me, and one of the people, Kelsey Shannon, heard me, and Kelsey was like, hey bro, won't you send me? He's like, I'll help you. Maybe I can maybe help you color a few pieces. I didn't know. It turned out Kelsey probably wouldn't have been able to help, because I didn't know he was coloring Bigfoot Bill. He was coloring for Dungeon Neighbor, so he was coloring that. He was doing that, and I think he was doing the colors on the Jungle Comics book as well, which I see is a couple months ago. That's been shipping now. So
well, speaking of that, like when Kelsey Shannon broke off from Jungle Comics, I was brought on to go ahead and do the rest of Jungle Comics. Now, who was I working with? Who was the writer on that? That was
that been done? Oh no, but I know Chuck Dixon wrote the
Chuck
issue.
Dixon. Yeah, I was working with Chuck Dixon on it. Now here, check this out, because I was like, oh, this is cool. This is kind of a break for me to go ahead and get in with Chuck Dixon, do some stuff. And I sent Chuck an email, all kinds of stuff like that. Now this is before I was in Comicsgate, and this is kind of the story of how I got into Comicsgate. Because I was working with Chuck, which was a dream job, because I have great respect for Chuck. I collected his books, all kinds of stuff like that, and so I got a job. So I'm doing Jungle Comics with Chuck, and then all of a sudden I'm losing jobs.
Wow.
Because now people are saying, oh, you're part of that Comicsgate trash and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know what this is, guys. What are y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? So after doing some like checking it out, I was like, well, this kind of fits everything I believe comics should be. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I jumped on board. I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll be Comicsgate. I don't care. Never looked back after that. But I've lost so many jobs because of that, because people don't understand what Comicsgate is all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the craziest thing. Like, they automatically assume, without doing zero investigating anything into Comicsgate. I mean, and that's the most ridiculous part too, because they got a cell phone. You can type things in and confirm any rumors that you've heard about Comicsgate with your cell phone. You know what I'm saying? But they're too lazy to do that, and instead they'd rather go off of hearsay and stuff like that.
Well, they call it confirmation bias.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. And that's one of the things. Like, yeah, I have no problem saying I'm Comicsgate. If you don't like it,
neither do I.
I claim your stuff and go, dude.
I claim it. I rep it, man. I rep your set, baby.
Absolutely.
But that's one of the things, man. There's a couple of artists that I've been talking to, and they were like, "Yo, man, I've been seeing you on Ethan," because there was a gentleman, and I had talked to him, and because Kanan was just my character designer. He was never supposed. You know what I'm saying? He was.
Yeah.
I brought him on, and he was so. I only hired him so that because he was telling me all these prices, and he was too high. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't afford it. I was like, oh shit, I can't afford that, but I can get him. He does, like, I'll tell him my idea for a character, and he will take it and just he'll just blow it up. And it was like, I remember when he did the first I was talking to a guy, Jimbo Salgado from the Philippines, and Jimbo's done a lot of work for Upper Deck and Zenoscope and all these little independent comic companies and everything. And Jimbo, who ended up doing Ravage Kill All Men, he ended up doing that, and that was Chuck Dixon's.
I've heard of
that. Chuck. He did Ravage Kill All Men with Chuck Dixon, and but I had asked him. I told him I had this concept for this character called Dark Santana, which is a Santa Claus doppelganger. Blah blah blah. I had mentioned it to him. He was kind of, and I mean, they have Santa Claus in the Philippines, but for whatever reason, he just didn't get the concept, because I had hired Kanan to do the first brand piece, and then the next brand piece I hired Jimbo, and Jimbo I was like, hey man, you said you're gonna show me some concept sketches. It was just, he was dragging it. It was taking too long. He showed me like really, outline of a Santa Claus, and I was like, I don't think he understands what I want. It was kind of strange, and at that point, I talked to Kanan again, because we had started becoming a little friendly. This was over 3 years ago, and we had started becoming friendly. I'd send him a message every now and again on the Facebook Messenger, and then we added each other as friends on Facebook. And he goes, he said, so you're having him draw this like evil Santa Claus. I was like, yeah, it's an evil Santa Claus. He's got this big skunk stripe down his beard, all this kind. He's
what
like,
a great
okay,
design too. I really
and I was like, I want his clothes to look like all tattered and torn, like he just like took a Santa Claus suit off a homeless guy or something. I wanted to be all ripped. He was like, oh man, he said, that's what Jimbo's doing, and I said, yeah, that's what Jimbo's drawing. And I said, but I think he's not getting what I want. He said, well, I'll knock that out for you. Obviously I had to pay him, but he turned it around. I had it within like a day or so.
Really?
And he stopped everything, and just within like a day, he showed me the first. I was like, oh shit.
Well, it sounds like he's got a really good work ethic, and that's one thing I try to pride myself on too. Is going ahead of having because just because you have talent doesn't mean anything. If you can't produce work, then and
that's the thing. Yeah, he's not a super fast artist, but anybody that looked at Brand, they were like, oh shit, look at the detail on all the paper. It's exactly. Like Brian Boland. Like Brian Boland's a brilliant artist, but he's slow.
I love Brian Boland's art.
He's super slow though, but it's like, it's worth it to get it, because I had so many people. Like, we sent the Brand PDF out. I remember when we released the 21-page preview. We just a little preview, and people were like, "Oh man, Kanan's art is crazy. It's super. The colors are great, and it's like I had a great letterer and blah blah blah." They couldn't believe it, and then so we released the whole book to all the backers, and I'm getting so many emails and DMs like, "Oh man, I didn't expect the book to look like this. Wow, this is great, man. Look at the colors are great." He's like, "You're one of my favorite writers right now." And I was like, I have people DM me, and I was like, "Are you sure about this?" He's like, dude, yeah, I love the way the book was, and it just looked and all that. And that, that makes me happy. So I can't wait till they get the physical copies. And, there was so many people that were so supportive of us, and, just really took this, I
read your 21-page preview.
Yeah, it was. I saw there were, because I had a tracking link on it, and it got downloaded like 4,000 or 5,000 times.
Well, that's another thing too. Like your book, especially, goes to show your book. Von Klaus, all these guys, like that goes to show what the quality and the professionalism of Comicsgate is. I mean, any of those books can compete with anything from DC and Marvel. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Yeah.
Hold on, let me. Zay Comic, he says, "There a reason Craven does not wear pennants as a mask all the time?" Not just from, there's anytime you use power, there's a cost to it. So yeah, it's like,
and that's why it's not an SJW character.
Yeah, you can't just wear them all the time, because that would be like, when they link up, and kind of that's a nod to like some of my favorite cartoons and stuff. As a child, there would be the power up. He's like, okay, now the power up. And then there was what was it? It was a cartoon. I think it's called Pandemonium. You can see clips of it on YouTube, and it was these three pandas from outer space, and they would get and there was just like this cube, this crystal pyramid thing. They were trying to. Like pieces were located all over the globe. From it had shattered, and part of it fell.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, and then like there was other people trying to assemble this weapon or whatever this power item was, and it would be when they get into serious trouble. It was these two humans in a van. They were trying to do like a Scooby-Doo thing. Like, I was like, so wait a minute, if they're in a van, how the hell did they get over to Egypt? Why that? The whole thing was weird to me, but I was like, okay. But they would be driving around, and they'd get close, and the evil creatures would try to stop them, and they would get, to get in over the hand. They were like, it's time to form Papa Panda, guys. And they would touch, and they would become Papa Panda. It was like two of them would stand on top, two of them on the bottom, and then one on the top, and then they would merge into this ginormous, ultra powerful creature, which they call Papa Panda, and Papa Panda would and blow the guys away, and then they was like, yeah, we win, and then they go on to and they do the same exact thing every episode.
Yeah.
So it was just
like you kind of knew it was going to happen after a while.
Yeah, it was like you're just waiting. It's just like, it's like Masters of the Universe. You're just waiting on him to go by the power of Grayskull and to become He-Man.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. No, I know exactly what you're talking. I was a huge Masters of the Universe fan.
So I was like, yeah, that
And
would be crazy if he was just walking around. I might do an issue where he's in mask the whole time, but that doesn't appeal because I want some of the things to happen. I want him to be the fat guy, and then I
well,
want him to turn into the big muscular guy, and then I want
yeah.
him to merge with Penance. I want it to happen in layers.
Well, and I totally agree with that because you want drama. You want to have like you don't want your character to be Superman all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the way. I mean, you need weakness in a character to go ahead and have that hero's journey.
Well, a
You
couple
know?
weeks ago, Kanan turned in a page, and from Way of the Gun, he turned in one of the new pages, and David is in regular form in that picture. It's one of my favorite panels that he did though, because the character Melissa, David's sad and she's consoling him, and she just like reaches and grabs his face, and you could see from her facial expression. It was like he gets some of the best facial expressions I've noticed that Kanan draws with David is when he's in my form, when he looks like me. He's just a little fat guy, and and he's like, when he's sitting there and so when he's in that alpha form, when he's not a fat guy and he's like 6'10" and he's ripped to shreds and he's got muscles, I don't relate to that character the same way as I do. So that's why I think people, when I started hearing back from people were like, that didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. And I was like, I was like, because a lot of the action, a lot of the parts that make you empathize with the characters, they're going to happen when David's not using his powers. He's just going to be falling in love with this fat guy, and just like, oh man, he has the worst
absolutely,
luck.
because you got to humanize the character. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Who can relate to an all powerful character?
And and I was just like, the character Gaiman, he'll have most of the time when we show him, he'll have his mask on, but there's gonna be times when we finally, because I do want to reveal Gaiman's face and do all this, because I want him and David to have moments together, because they've got like a father-son thing going. He found David when he was like 15 years old and trained him and taught him how to become a hunter and do all this, and a lot of mistakes were made while David, in Way of the Gun, we're introducing a character that I've talked about a lot, but we haven't seen him, a character called Horace, which was this character Horace was with David before Penance. It was like he was David when David first created a mask, because the hunters that have masks, they have to make them themselves, and he made this first mask, and it was Horace. And in Horace, David kind of didn't listen to some of the advice that Gaiman had given him, and Horace ended up turning on him and working with Dark Santana. So that's where they come into the story. So you'll start seeing some things happen, and obviously David had to stop Horace and had to stop Dark Santana, which is had to put him down. But then later on, he didn't want to create another mask, and then Gaiman said, hey, you need another mask, and he created Penance. And that's where Penance is the replacement, for there's a lot of things people will notice when we get more into the story. I'm glad this first book really set things. There wasn't anything, because people were like, well, you didn't resolve, and I was like, I wasn't trying to resolve. This is the first issue. I told people it's going to take 4 or 5 issues to tell this whole first story arc that I want to tell.
Absolutely, and you know what? I totally agree with that. Like they had, like, people were telling me like, you need more hot chicks in your comic, and I was like, I agree with that, and that'll come, but at first issue, to me, the first issue is the hardest issue to write. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you have to go ahead and you have to establish your character. You have to give a background to your character. You have to make him relatable. And you have to establish plot designs, like subplots and main plots. And within that first book, you have to have something that people can grab a hold of and be like, this is badass. Like you have to have at least one of those plots end in that first book, And that's, to me, that's why a first issue is the hardest issue to go ahead and write and produce. And that's Like that was the problem. Well, Doc Salem flowed really easily for me. It
But I mean,
wasn't
yeah,
that
because
hard
when
to
I
go
had you
ahead
on
and.
before, it seemed like you were very passionate about it. It seemed like you really had thought it out, and you had your story. So, I mean, have you completely finished that issue, or?
Oh, it's done. Everything's
Okay,
done
okay.
on it. I mean, well, I'm still penciling like some pages, and also the Literature Devil did a one or two page story for me. Like he had his artist go ahead and do
Ooh.
a Doc Salem story, and he wrote it, and it's that dude. He's extremely talented. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. He is the literature devil. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Now, Road Trip.
Yeah.
Let me
Rockabilly
talk about Road
Roadtrip.
Trip for a little while. Since
Which thanks to the mods for dropping that link in for his mailing list. I've got that in the description as well for anyone that is interested in learning about Rockabilly Road Trip. There is a link in the chat and it's in the description as well. You can check on it and sign up so that when he launches, you will get a little heads up.
Absolutely, and you get some extra perks whenever you sign up early. Now, Road Trip, the original, this first issue, was completed at the end of 2018, I think, and it was supposed
Oh,
to
so
be.
you've been working on this one for a while as well.
Well, no. Well, the black and whites, like, all right, there's two parts to this. We actually came up with Road Trip in 2006, and
Oh,
we
wow.
worked on Road Trip all the way until 2013, and then we put an end to it for a while, and then when we came back to it, I wanted to come back to it in full color. Because that original series was done in black and white. It was extremely indie, and it's one of those books where you cut your teeth on it. You kind of it's trial by fire type of thing. So the art style changes all the way through it. And with this campaign, those original 6 issues are tied up into a trade paperback, and that's also going to be offered in the campaign. Now the new series, there's a little bit of a history. So this new series, which is a fantastic jumping on point because we're starting at issue 1 again, and it's like I said, full color. We had a deal with a pretty well known publisher to go ahead and publish it, but it was the beginning of 2019 when they wanted to do it, and we had the book colored, it was lettered, everything, and we presented it to them, and they immediately backed out because of the political climate at the time. Because the story in that first issue focuses around a disease that the Mississippians used to, way back. They came up with, it's actually not a real disease. It's more like folklore because they used it to explain a woman's, like when a woman went through a menopause.
Oh.
Like when they lost their minds, they're like, she's got mecritis, and they would lock her up, put her down or whatever. And we played off of that disease, so as soon as they seen what the story was about, they were like, we can't publish this. So we but the book was finished and it's really, really good. The colorist is amazing. And Rockabilly Road Trip also has a movie pilot out there on YouTube. It's called it's actually, if you go to YouTube and you look up Rockabilly Road Trip movie pilot, it's on there. We built the car from Rockabilly Road Trip. If you're into stuff like the Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider,
One of my favorite shows.
exactly, Knight Rider, stuff like that, then you're gonna love this series because Nikki's car in this book is called the Devil Driver.
I ripped off Knight Rider so much. I'm surprised I don't get a cease and desist.
Yeah. Can you pull up the actual promo video from the mailing list, or is that not a thing that can happen?
Well, let me see. Is it on the mailing list page?
Yeah, it's on there.
Let me see. Can I pull that up there?
So with the campaign, I'm gonna talk a little bit while you do
it. Yeah, please.
So with the campaign, you can either go with one of the tiers will be just the book, which will be just the full color issue 1 for the new volume, or you can go with the another tier is going to offer the 155 page trade paperback, and in that trade paperback, that's the only place you can get the 6th issue of the original series.
So when you women, let me ask, because maybe I misunderstood that. So this isn't a single issue that you're going to be launching. It's going to be more. It's collected or whatever.
It's the single issue, but we're offering the collection the collection of all of volume 1 is going to be collected into a trade paperback. So you can also get volume 1. You have the option of getting volume 1 within this campaign. Yeah.
Well, hold up. I'm seeing, let me see. I'm seeing Rockabilly Road Trip movie, Rockabilly Road Trip episodic trailer, Rockabilly Road Trip.
Oh, you must be on YouTube. Are you on
Yeah,
YouTube?
I just typed it into Google. I did the Chrome thing. I was like, but I can, if it is it actually.
I'm going to send it to you right now.
Hold on, let me pull it up on your actual mail because I've got that as well. Let me pull that up. I was like, let me type in Rockabilly Road Trip and see if it'll come up. I mean, it looks like I think those are connected to your campaign, but I don't think those.
No, if it's the because the live action, we actually had the chick from The Purge played a heroine in Road Trip. Road Trip.
And hold on, I'm trying to get it. It's
there
like,
you go.
The thing when you do things on the fly.
I got you covered. It's in the private chat.
Okay, hold on. It's in the private chat. Okay.
Actually, it's supposed to be coming, but I put 2 links. One's to the
okay, hold on. I see. And then okay, hold on. Let me just pull that up. Let's see, can I get that to work? Because I see it now. Let's see. Boom. And then we will do this so that we stop having boomer moments. And let's see. Well, all right, here we go. Yes. Okay, so let me do a screen share. And
are you going through Chrome or?
Yeah, I'm doing Chrome.
Excellent. Yeah.
I was like, is that bad? I was like, uh-oh.
No. I've learned recently, like if you go through any other browser but Chrome, you can't get sound with StreamYards. Yeah.
Let me see. Mr. D. Can't stay. Glad I found you. Well, welcome, Mr. D. I was like, well, hello.
Hey there, big guy.
Yeah. I'm like, Mr. Hanky.
Dude, I love South Park.
Yeah. But, howdy ho.
Howdy ho.
Mr. Hanky, the Christmas boo. Okay, so I'm going to do my screen share.
All right.
And boom. Oh, damn it. Okay. Got it. Boom. Okay. So it says watch the video. Hopefully this should come through. Oh, can you still hear me and all that?
I can.
Uh-oh. I was like, I thought I lost you. I was like, did I lose Preston? Okay, that's not good. All right, so here we go. About to watch it. Let's get it on.
Oh, your sound's off. I can see it.
Oh, shit.
Nikki has one special.
Okay, hold on. Let me rewind it because I'm a boomer.
Welcome to Rockabilly Road Trip. Rockabilly Road Trip is the story of Nikki the Pipe. Nikki has one special talent. He can build anything.
All the black and whitish images are from the original series.
Calls his devil driver. Nikki finds that his life is still missing something. So he focuses his amazing talents on building Patches, a bombshell of a driving companion, to complement the look of his demonic hot rod. Oh, but Rockabilly Road Trip isn't anything but typical. Our heroes encounter chainsaw-wielding psychos in Texas, greaser aliens from outer space at Area 51, and a voodoo zombie infestation at a roadside stop in Louisiana are just the start of the problems our heroes run into on the road trip of a lifetime. In issue 1 of their brand new full-color series, Nikki and Patches battle a mysterious illness that is driving the women in a small Mississippi town psychotic. So come along for the cross-country love story adventure that is Rockabilly Road Trip.
Aha!
It is Road Trip.
Well, congratulations, sir. I like that.
Yeah, it's been a labor of love because we've made zero money on this property, but we keep at it. I don't know why. It's like we just can't stop, dude.
I gotta be honest. You had some color images in the in the video, and the colorist, whoever this other colorist is, good job.
Yeah, he's he's working on Doc Salem right now, but he's also they're under threat of a volcano erupting where he's at. So
these guys in like overseas somewhere or whatever.
Yeah, but he's really good. His name's Brian. I can't pronounce his last name, so that's kind of useless.
It's not what's the name? God, what was it? He's the colorist on Ravage Kill All Men. Brian such.
Oh, let me see.
What the hell, Brian? God, why can't I? Because he was
American about
I was like, as soon as you said that, me and him follow each other on Instagram. That's why I was like,
oh really? It's Brian R. Magnay. I think
that's
something like
that. Brian McNay. He has another name. I've noticed a lot of times with these like Asian names, they'll be just like, yeah, I'm Charlie. It'll just because no one can say Super Nupa Song or whatever, that kind of thing. But yeah, Brian McNay, who is the colorist on Ravage Kill All Men.
He's good there. Oh, really? He was.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's why I was like, I was like, is he talking about Brian? Because I was like, Brian, when Jimbo was doing the
guy is incredible.
Yeah, Brian's an amazing colorist, and he was one of the ones I was going to approach about coloring Brand. He because he contacted me when he saw Jimbo had posted the work the Dark Santana piece that he had done for me, and he was like, hey, if you want some color work done, I work with Jimbo, and I noticed a lot of when I went on his Instagram, most of the stuff he was posting was Jimbo's work, but now he's posting a lot of other people. Like, I think he was going to be the colorist on that other book that what's the guy Nexus?
Steve Rude, Mike Barron.
Mike Barron was doing that book with
him, Chuck Dixon, and all those guys.
He was the one with the God. It looked so cool, and the campaign was struggling. It was the aliens come, and it's like these like Viking warriors or whatever the hell. And why the hell can't I remember that? Because I had them on for it, but maybe that's why they didn't get funded. But I hope they relaunch that.
Yeah, well, because, Brian's incredible. He worked on Road Trip, and after I've seen his work on Road Trip, I was like, I need to bring him on Doc Salem because obviously nobody likes the car and on.
Because that's what I'm saying. So that's Brian McNay. That's the colorist that was on Ravage Kill All Men. Yeah. So I was just like, he was Ben Henderson. He's big on Brian. He was like, I love Brian. He colors, I give him as much work as I can and all that kind of stuff. The Ben Henderson, the original owner of Cautionary Comics. Yeah. He has sold that company now. So, but Cautionary Comics, but man, Outlander, that's the name of the book. That's the name of Outlander. Yeah. And they had this matter of fact, I'd love to get that artist, the Outlander artist. I can't remember his name, but my God, that dude his art was so good. Yeah. He was incredible. And I was like, and I think all that stuff was digital though, but it looked like he drew it traditionally, but everybody's drawing digitally now.
Well, the only reason I switched back to traditional is because it's more organic. So I kind of, when I have a pencil in my hand, I'm a little bit more free with my art than I am with a stylus. Plus I make more money. I sell the originals. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I started working with Demetrius Miller and, he's got a nice following on Instagram. He's got 2 accounts on Instagram. One of them's got 45,000 people following it because he draws a lot of the cheesecake type stuff. He's like great at airbrushing. He'll do these pieces. Like I've had people contact me about getting commissions from him, and they'll be like, "Hey, I just want him to do this." They're wanting their favorite characters drawn with revealing or whatever. They want
it a little nasty.
Yeah. They want. I just like Supergirl. Someone paid him to do It's what's the name's Melissa Benoist, the girl that plays her.
From the TV series.
Yeah, so it had a blank sketch cover, and it was Supergirl.
Yeah.
but they wanted her to, be showing her bosom. And and Demetrius loves drawing. Some artists be like, oh God, they want me to draw nudity. Oh my God.
No, I'm good at drawing. Like, I don't mind nudity, but like I tell everybody when I'm doing commissions, it like artistically erotic is good, but I'm not going to go into the porn area. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
Well, that's Demetrius has made a lot of. He'll draw that kind of stuff too. But I mean, I leave that up to the client, because we had another piece, and the client was like, well, I want him to do this. And I'd like her to just be sexy, but I want her exposed. So she's just standing there with this pose and her breasts are out. and
well, I know friends who do that, and they make a ton of money.
He makes good money.
In the butt too.
Because I mean, I want to get him on when he's actually doing airbrushing, because he did an airbrush piece for me and he just knocked it out of the park, dude. I was just like, but there's no nudity on my piece, because he's like, do you want nudity? I was like, no. I said, I just want it sexy, because I mean, it's meant for, if it was something private, then I'd be like, I don't care. But this is supposed to be part of it's going to be one of the pinups for Way of the Gun. So I kind of wanted like the Savage Land Rogue that Jim Lee did. There's so many people have recreated that, like when Rogue is sitting there all sexy and ripped clothes and all that. So I was like, that's what I want. I kind of want like Savage Land Rogue, but instead of Rogue, I want it to be Dawn Craven. So he drew, and her clothes are all torn up and such and such, and he just killed it. And I was so happy when I saw it, and it's actually framed up and hanging on my wall. Beautiful 11x17. He did the airbrush and that's what I'm saying. It's like some people, those are more high-end type clients, because I was like, some people just want him to do, because he can do, like I said, he can do pencils and inks. There's a matter of fact, when we do the Fame book, he's doing the Fame book for me. I think it's going to be about 25 pages, 26 pages or whatever. I had to tighten the script up a little bit. But when he does that for me, it's going to be, it's a Fame book. It's going to be telling the story of Fame, the pimp with the cane from Brand. And so we're going to be kind of a little in his backstory. That's one of the things, like we're going to have this big mega pack, and they'll have all the covers. We're going to do 6 different covers, 2 of which are behind my head right now. The one in the middle there.
I see the Santana and the
the pregnant. That's the pregnant woman. It's the Demi Moore Vanity Fair. Magazine cover that just went crazy. When I think she was pregnant with Rumor Willis, and she posed nude on the cover of Vanity Fair and just tore everybody up. And I remember it was like, what was it, 86, 87?
A long time.
Yeah, it was a minute ago when and Demi was hotter than Firecracker back then. She was doing Ghost. She's doing all these movies. She
still doesn't look that bad. I gotta be honest.
She's aged very well, but I'm just saying back then.
Oh yeah. No, I remember that's when she put out that stripper movie too.
Yeah, striptease and all that. Yeah, she was man, but yeah, she posed on the cover of Vanity Fair and people went crazy. But Matthew Weldon, I didn't know Matthew. I just had been seeing him on Mike S. Miller's channel on Drawn and Quartered, and I remember the Punchline book, and I never read it. I didn't. By the time I wanted to back it, it had shut the campaign down. But now they've got trade paperbacks and stuff you can get. So
weird. Like with Doc Salem, I'm going to be offering 6 different covers on Doc Salem, but with Road Trip, we're not going to be doing that. This time I'm going to be offering, we're going to be offering vinyl. We got the Rockabilly Road Trip theme song done by the Vulture Club in Britain. Yeah. And so what we're going to do is on one side, you're going to have the actual Road Trip theme song, and on the other side, you're going to have the karaoke version. So you can go ahead and flip it over and do the sing along or whatever. But it's also going to be a collector's pack. So you'll have the vinyl with some original cover art. We found a bunch of places. Like nowadays, they don't press vinyl. They do it. They use it like they carve it like it's a blade that they go ahead and they scratch it into the into the vinyl record. So it's a different process, but they can do. The price is just affordable enough for us to offer it as a tier. So that's going to be one. We're also thinking about doing, the travel packs, where you're going to have like stuff you'd need on the road when you take your road trip.
Mm.
And different things like that. So signing up early for the Rockabilly Road Trip comic series would be probably a good idea, because you're going to get some extra perks that you wouldn't normally get when like in a regular campaign. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you said you're going to relaunch Dark Salem,
Yeah.
but you're here today for Rockabilly Road Trip. So when are you launching that?
Okay, so we're supposed to launch at the end of this month, like at the beginning of February.
Okay.
So it'll be that within that first week of February, the campaign will go live. And right now we got about almost 40 people signed up for the email list.
Got a couple hundred on mine too. Yeah, I put my.
Well,
I wouldn't expect that.
Would be fantastic.
I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. I was like, wow, some people want to play the gun. Awesome.
Unfortunately, Road Trip's a little bit harder to sell. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy.
I thought your video was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Matter of fact, the black and white art looked really good.
No, but that's, I mean, like I said, like that was back when I was cutting my teeth on comics. And
so you're better now.
Oh, way better.
Extremely better. Faces, I like your faces. Your faces were really expressive, I thought.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I like too, because I was talking to I think it was Angel Medina at a Comic-Con.
He used to do Spawn and stuff, right?
Oh,
yeah,
God, dude, back then we sat around for an hour just talking comics, and he talked to me about my work, and he was like, make your expressions as like, don't make all your characters look the same, and make sure you put emotion into each character. Like if you have an angry character, but he's just looking like a zombie, that's not going to work. And Sweens, why can't we just talk Doc Salem?
Well, we're talking about everything. So I was like, oh no, we're talking about every damn thing. So,
is that Sweens, not Joe Frogo? Frogo?
I think Sweens' account is pretty. Yeah, because I mean, I've had Sweens and Indy Dave on, so I'm pretty sure that's not him, unless it's like, yeah.
The best time to catch Sweens is when he's all liquored up on YouTube.
I thought, we had it was him and Indy Dave, and him and Indy Dave on, doing what's it? Somebody, what the hell is the name of the comic? I can't remember everybody. There's so many people, but the Big Frog book that he's got out.
That's Oddities.
Oddity, that's what it is. I was like, God, I can't remember that. I had him on. We talked for like almost 2 hours. I was like, yeah. I was really nice guys.
Sween's badass. Sween, all those guys. I mean, like I said, Comicsgate. It was those guys are really cool. You're part of Comicsgate. I mean, it's not what you think.
Am I part of Comicsgate? I did not know that. When did I join Comicsgate? I'm just no. Hold on.
Or you are now.
Do one of those. I always find these guys weird. I'm Comicsgate adjacent.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. I was like,
that means I'm just putting my toe in. I'm not going to commit.
I'm adjacent. Yes.
And what look, my experience is that if you're going to associate a little bit, you might as well go all in.
That's why there, like I said,
because people are going to judge you the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at least I would say, okay, if you are saying comments like, okay, I respect what Comicsgate's doing, I just don't want to be involved. But then I notice you're launching a book, and it's like, look, I'm not really Comicsgate, but I would like to come on. I have always said that you don't have to be Comicsgate to come on my channel as long as you're not shitting on Comicsgate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you out there going around shitting on Comicsgate, please don't ask me to come on my channel.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah.
Because I'm not pretending to be Comicsgate. I'm Comicsgate. This community, I was in this community when I embraced this community when your boy Zach used to do his comic book hangouts and all that. That's what, that's going back a ways. And, this community, even when my books were failing, and that's another thing I've noticed, people will launch a Comicsgate book and then the book doesn't do right. And they go, I thought this community was supposed to buy comics. And I was like, they are buying comics. They just didn't buy yours for whatever reason. And when mine failed twice, I didn't blame Comicsgate.
No, and I didn't either. That's one thing that I want to make clear. Like it wasn't the fault of Comicsgate that Doc Salem didn't do what it had to do the first time around.
When I look back on some of the that's the thing. When I look back on my campaigns, I know I was like, oh God, that was it. The book or the page was laid out poorly. It didn't communicate what the message was. I didn't have enough interior art to show. There's things I can point out now that I go, oh God, if I launch that, that's why I made sure I've got, I'm sitting on 10 pages of art right now. I've got more pages coming. Kanan is working, so that's why I know, I made sure I've got most of the, I've got 4 of the 6 covers. Another one is, which I hope I have in the next few weeks, because I cannot wait to show it. I don't know if I even want to show it black and white or not. I was like, but I've got, not to mention, we haven't even given Ethan Van Sciver the layout for his cover. So that's what I'm saying. So we're going to have Ethan Van Sciver, and there's going to be one more. So it's going to be 6 covers, and then we're going to have another cover that's going to be the cover for the Fame book that Kanan's going to do the cover, but Demetrius Miller is going to do the interior arts and all that kind of stuff. So we got so much cool stuff planned. And there's people that have reached out to me like, hey man, let me know when you launch. I want to help you push this. And some of the Indiegogo people reached out to me.
You see how you're talking right now? Like you're all excited about your book, and you're like, this is because the community's out there, they're helping you and stuff like that.
That's why, like, when you're campaign guys, like Nick from War Campaign, those dudes are always tweeting and shit.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like when you're not with this group and you're out there by yourself, like you're really by yourself. And nobody's helping you like they are with this group. Yeah.
Well, and I've seen people like go at the War Campaign. And I'm like, look, dude, because I had when the Praetorian guy was in War Campaign, me and him had a little back and forth, and I wasn't against the whole War Campaign. I had issue with Praetorian. And then, Ro reached out to me immediately. He was like, hey, man, we ain't got no beef with you. Let's talk. And, he said, I called him. We actually talked on the phone for like 35, 40 minutes. We actually talked like grown man. That's why I always, whenever anybody talks about Rockabilly Roadtrip, I know me and him talked on the phone on some grown man shit, and we got stuff worked out. That's why I salute Ro. So, it's like that's one of the, I have a lot of respect for him because, and I know the War Campaign guys, they have pushed brand hard. They were pushing it harder than I was. And I was like, yo, I couldn't believe it.
No, that's one thing. Yeah. I mean, and you know what? Here's the weird thing too. Like after Doc Salem got canceled, I canceled the campaign, but after it got canceled, I started getting fan art of Doc Salem. And I was like,
that's great when somebody
that's crazy. I was like, yeah, I mean, and I collected, like, I still got all of it, and I'm planning on, like, as soon as I can get permissions from the people, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the book because I think that's amazing.
I had some people do some fan art stuff, and I was like, I don't know. Kanan was like, maybe on the next one we can open it up and have people submit pinups and stuff, because there's some stuff I would like to use. I appreciate people being creative and especially, matter of fact, the Blockheads guy, he did a really cool Dark Santana Blockheads thing, which I think you can get it on his website. But when I was on with Cecil yesterday, he actually had a plastic Blockhead thing. It kind of looked like one of those Funko Pops.
Get out of here.
Dude, it was badass, and I was getting all excited. I was like, "Oh shit, how you do that?" So maybe I need to holler at Cecil and see. I was like, because the Blockheads dude is real cool. Matter of fact, I'd love to.
I need to talk to that guy again because I would love to have a Doc Salem Blockhead.
Yeah, I didn't know he was doing it. He was real respectful. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna make a Dark Santana. Is that cool?" He didn't want to, because some people just take your shit and they just make it and they just don't ask and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was making a Dark Santana. And he made one, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna make one. Is that cool?" I was like, "Yeah, go for it, bro." And he made it, It had the great sinister look. And when he made it, it didn't have the skunk stripe on the beard. He just had like a Santa Claus with an evil grin. And that's why I was like, a lot of people do that when they do Dark Santana. It was just like, look, man. I know I was like, he didn't have a skunk stripe on the beard. And at that point, it was like, okay. I say, hey, yeah, I say it's perfect except for the skunk stripe. And he was like, oh man, I left that out. And then he came back like 20 minutes later, and he showed it again, and he was like, "Got it." And I was like, "That's it." And he put it up on the website.
Yeah, I contacted him once, but I think he was a little too busy to go.
Yeah. That dude was dope, man. That's why
I need to contact him again and go ahead and see if he'll.
But yeah, Cecil, that's part of the cash grab thing where he's actually going to be like he said he's going to actually have the plastic ones.
Yeah,
and you can like actually ship them out to people. So I thought that was badass. So I actually need to ask Cecil at it because that Dark Santana one was that Blockheads did was dope. I want stuff because I want Migos. I want a Dawn one. I was like, I want like a Dawn one. I want a Dark Santana. I want a David one. All that kind of thing. So yeah, Blockheads. I thought this stuff was dope. I don't know how he figures that. It's like, okay, if you fold this and you do that there or whatever. I was like, the whole thing just looked incredible. I think he's incredibly talented. And,
Cecil's book. Now, Cecil's book I checked his out. I never even knew it launched.
Cash Grab is taking on.
But the art is good. Like, I like the art.
Yeah,
like it's not bad.
The thing. Denal DeLay, his art, he's got like 15 art styles. That dude is like a jack of all trades or something. Because his art, I even said this. I was like, the art for Brutus the Badass was not up to my taste where I wanted to back it.
Yeah.
But then I saw his art on Vestige, and I thought the art on Vestige, it was different. His art on Vestige was different from the art on Brutus the Badass. I saw the Vestige. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know he could draw like that. And I was like, okay. And I was like, and the colors were real nice. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I backed Vestige. And then when I saw the Cash Grab art, it was different again.
Yeah.
And I was like, this dude can draw so many. But that's one thing. Like my man Elliot Fernandez, he's got a few different styles that he likes to keep it more cartoonish. But he's got a couple of different styles that he likes to work with as well. And my goodness, man, this is what it is. So I'm, I really, really, really love, we've got some really creative people. Oh, hold up. Someone is coming in. Jesse Blue. I don't know.
Bluski. That's the writer for Roadtrip.
Okay. So I should let him in. That's one thing. Okay. Well, hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Hello. Howdy. Welcome to the channel.
Hello.
All right. So you're the writer on Rockabilly Roadtrip.
That is correct. And
all right. Well,
and the stuntman once in a
while. There you go. Okay.
Funny story about that.
Well, I'm about to say, how did you hook up with this nut here?
So let me explain something. What he's talking about as far as the stuntman thing. So we built the car from the road trip book, and we were filming the movie pilot. And we were doing it all undercover and stuff, like guerrilla filming tactics, where we had no license to do anything.
They did Hollywood Shuffle like that, where he's like, the cops were coming in like, hey, you got oh no, we'll move, and then they'll just wait for the cop to clear out, and they'll just move somewhere else.
Well, the car vibrated so much that it broke almost all the welds in the face of the car. It's like this skull on the face. Well, we needed this scene where we needed somebody to climb on top of the car, like the face, and go down a highway. The stunt guy's like, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. Just like, fuck it. He jumped on there. Going down the highway, dressed as a psychotic.
Oh, no. Let's hold up. Edgar Tarley in the chat said, where'd you find Flea with glasses at? Okay. Where you give it away now? Right, so.
But I'm going to let Jesse take it. You guys go.
Well, I don't even, and Preston just sent me a link and I hopped on. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. I don't know what.
Yes, it's definitely nice to meet you as well. I wasn't, because we were going live. I said, is anybody going to show up? This is, but it's nice. I don't know how many other people were sent the link, but it's nice to meet you, and hopefully a few people, because I said the mods, like I said, the mods have been dropping the link. It's in the description as well to Rockabilly Roadtrip, the mailing list to get in on it if you like it, because and matter of fact, I will show the trailer again before we sign off the air. I want people to check it out, but the link, of course, is in the description, and of course, I appreciate the mods that have been dropping the link for this in as well. Just sign up, put your email in there, and get in on the mailing list so that you will know when Rockabilly Roadtrip launches, which you said is going to be at the beginning of the year. I mean, not the beginning of February.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I was like, we're already at the beginning of the year. What am I doing? I was like, yeah, but then the beginning of, because I know, yeah, we're hoping to launch Brand Way of the Gun by the end of February. So that is, and be shipping and all that good, sexy stuff. So, hey, that's the hope. But okay, Jesse. Okay, so have you written any other comics or written? I'm assuming you've written something.
Yeah, so me and Preston, I was having a hell of a time in my original book called Puppet Terrors. So I created a toy line of very scary, demented hand puppets. In my brain, it just kind of story came together, and I was doing a 4-part miniseries. And this was probably 10, 12 years ago, where it wasn't as easy to find a comic community online and find fellow artists. So I was just, trying to finish up this little mini series that I was, bleeding over. And Preston emailed me. He's like, "I'm your guy." I'm like, "Yeah, right. Everybody says they want to get into comics." And the dude delivered, and we just kept going from there. We finished that book up and said, "Let's start another one."
Okay, I like that. That's so like I said, y'all. So you're not just somebody that he met 6 months ago.
No, we've been at this over a decade.
We met over a dating site.
Hey, I salute your
comic singles
lifestyle. Yes, we are. Well, someone said I am LBGCG. And that is, and I always respect that sentiment. So I was like, I am as well. Although I have always stood firm that I am a lesbian. So because I respect other alternative lifestyles. So there you go. Yeah, so let me see. 2020 is the year of the zombie pirate. Oh, I can't wait till they launch. Mandy Summers has got that book Pirate Queen coming. She's still got Wart the Wizard on Indiegogo right now. I think she's over $11,000, which I'm very happy for her. But yeah, I'm like that. That young lady is the hardest working lady in Comicsgate. I am so proud of her. And I salute her success. And so, yeah, and she's grown her. She started a couple months ago and her channel had like 15 subs and now she's got almost 2,000. So it's crazy. I was like, yeah, man, I'm telling you, you're not going to find anybody. I thought I was a hard worker. You're not going to find anybody that works harder than Mandy, so that is what it is. So I was like, I respect her. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing when she does the Pirate Queen, which I can't remember the artist. He's the artist on the Sea Dog codename Kill Switch. Mark Poulton. I had Mark Poulton on late last year, and he was promoting the Sea Dog codename Kill Switch, and that's still active on Indiegogo as well. But Mark Poulton is also the writer on Graveyard Shift 1 and 2, the co-creator on that. And obviously they've got the Graveyard Shift Andrew Huerta variant, and that thing's like about $54,000. So salute to him and John Malin. They are doing the damn thing here. I'm like, we've got so much cool stuff coming. I know Ethan's getting ready to do Cyberfrog Wreck Planet, and I mean there's a lot of stuff. So let me see. Bianca Fights the Zombie says, I am LBGTCG. My gender is Comicsgate. That is incorrect, Bianca. I only accept pronouns as they and them. they, them. I was like, if you don't have they, them in your profile, I never trust people. When I go to someone's profile on Twitter and they go pronouns or they and them, I go, you pretentious cocksucker. It pisses me off. I cannot, that drives me nuts. When did we get to that place where we have to go, no, he, him.
I don't recognize any of that stuff, and I'm not going to play that game. Sorry.
I was like, we've got to. I'm serious. There was a movie where the guy went to sleep, and when he woke up, it was like America got pussified, and it was like a bunch of soy based.
Yeah, I seen that. What was that called? That was.
It drives me nuts, but this is exactly. I was like, this shit is happening in real life. I was like, if I'm a guy and I have to go, he, him. are my pronouns. They, them. I do not identify with a gender. When you start doing stuff like that, damn, dude. I
was reading a book and I was following a series for a while. And so the latest book came out. It wasn't a comic, it was a novel. And I was reading it, and then they actually put that in the novel. I closed it and threw it in the garbage. I was done. I never even made it through it. I was into it too. I was like, nah, once you start that political shit, I'm out. Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah, especially a lot of this stuff. This is supposed to be about comic books and stuff, and it's gotten really weird, man. I was like, that's why I'm like, I'm not leaving Comicsgate. I love being part of this community, and love a lot of the people that I've met in this community. This is the place to be, man. It's fun, and like I said, when I was talking about blockheads earlier, this community is. I was like, you should totally get some Rockabilly Roadtrip blockhead, cutouts and all that kind of thing. Dude, like I said,
I need to talk to the blockheads guy because
I actually want to have him on. I'm assuming it's a him. I don't want to. Oh God, I don't want to assume someone.
I wonder if you think they would do a blockhead for me.
Perhaps they would. God, why do people talk like that now? That drives me nuts.
Jesse can explain a little bit better about the original 155-page black and white series.
Yes,
and then going into the color.
Please do.
Yeah, I mean, similar to kind of our guerrilla movie tactics. We just hit the ground. We didn't know what the rules were. We just started, writing comics. We actually wrote 2 issues. I don't know if you ever hear of a guy named Richard Cheese.
I do not know that name, but you can please enlighten
me. If you've ever seen the Dawn of the Dead remake, there's
I did. Okay.
Yeah, like a lounge version of Down with the Sickness by Disturbed. If you watch it again, you'll know it. As soon as it happens, you'll know it exactly. So this guy sings loungified versions of new songs with all the obscenities in. It sounds stupid, but it's really catchy. So we're like, all right, let's throw that guy in the comic book. And then we realized that lawyers had to get involved. So we just flew by the seat of our pants and just started cranking out books, and it was a labor of love. So the schedule was whenever we got around to it. So we did 6 books in 10 years, but we never stopped. And now we're migrating to color and movies and full video. So I think anybody in the group or in the chat right now that does comics, it's certainly not to put food on the table.
Yeah, well. There you go. Well, I will say, fortunately, my book has helped pay a few bills over the last year. But I've been very, very fortunate in that regard. And hopefully, we will continue that success on the next
one. Labor of love. We're not planning to cash out anytime.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I think the project looks interesting. That's one of Preston sent me, he sent it and, saw the video and the art looks interesting, colors. I was like, yeah. So I think, and like I said, I love the way he draws different faces and stuff. It looks very interesting. So he's got different, but that was one thing I liked about Doc Salem. So, I was very excited about that book, and I'm looking forward. Obviously, Preston, you are welcome to come back when you.
Oh, definitely. I was going to ask you about that too.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. As long as you're not a dick, I'll let you come back. And, because there's some people that are dicks, and I was like, I'll never let you come on my channel again. I was like, you will never be back on here again. But
I'm only coming back if you use my proper pronoun.
Oh God! Perhaps we will not be having Preston back. That's unfortunate.
You can just refer to him as a power bottom.
I was like, once we all power bottom, I need to change my name. It's like Antonio Power Bottom. I need to do that. So that's pretty funny. I love it, man. It's matter of fact, because we're getting towards the end of the road here, I want to play the Rockabilly Road Trip trailer again. Let me see, can I make that happen? Since fortunately this time I actually still have it pulled up, and let me see. So we're gonna watch this thing again, and I want people to look at it because I thought it was very interesting. So okay, so let's. I think the sound is on this time. All right. So, let me see. All right.
Welcome to Rockabilly Roadtrip. Rockabilly Roadtrip is the story of Nicky the Pipe. Nicky has one special talent. He can build anything. After completing work on his hellish hot rod, which he lovingly calls his devil driver, Nicky finds that his life is still missing something. So he focuses his amazing talents on building Patches, a bombshell of a driving companion, to complement the look of his demonic hot rod. Oh, but Rockabilly Roadtrip isn't anything but typical. Our heroes encounter chainsaw-wielding psychos in Texas, greaser aliens from outer space at Area 51, and a voodoo zombie infestation at a roadside stop in Louisiana are just the start of the problems our heroes run into on the road trip of a lifetime. In issue 1 of their brand new full-color series, Nicky and Patches battle a mysterious illness that is driving the women in a small Mississippi town psychotic. So come along for the cross-country love story adventure that is Rockabilly Roadtrip.
And that is Rockabilly Roadtrip.
Yeah, love it, man. Salute. I love that. That's great, man. I was like, I am very much please. Let me see. That is wait a minute, Stone Cold. Wait a minute, Power. Oh no, here we go. You guys, this is fun. The Power. You guys,
Antonio.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there you go. And then yeah. Oh my God, that is
Dave. You got a new nickname.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why did I? Here I go, man. There you go. Stone Cold and trained in sumo. It's like I had to do my Jim Ross impression. Stone Cold. My God, he's a Texas rattlesnake. Somebody stop the damn match. I was like, I always loved Jim Ross back in the day. Right? It was like he seems to be losing the fastball a little bit on some of the AEW stuff, but yeah. I have. He's getting up there. He's like almost 70 years old or whatever, you know. So
be a cranky old man.
Yeah, he's just But
can you imagine when that dude goes senile?
Oh boy, yeah, that'll be interesting. So yeah, but okay, so you're definitely launching on the 1st or just towards the beginning of February? Or?
First week. We're gonna try
first week. Okay,
first week of February.
Where are you gonna launch at?
Indiegogo.
No. I'm saying, what? Are you going to do a launch party or no?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh boy, Preston, you worrying me, brother. Okay,
I'll be in town on the 5th.
I'm saying,
let's do that. Let's do it.
It's just the thing, because like some of the newer campaigns, that's definitely something you should do. You know, you launch and you stream on YouTube and you have guests and your mods put the links in the chat and hopefully you have a couple of decent guests and they help draw an audience and you promote your book for an hour or 2.
Would you want to help us out with that? Putting together a launch party or?
Well, you can definitely, like I said, you can definitely come back when you launch. I'm more than happy to have you on. I think the project looks really cool. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, people that definitely do a launch party. I was like, what are you talking about? Preston, you got me concerned, brother. I was like, how do you just like the thought never occurred? Honest question now. I'm not having to dig it. What was the plan? Were you just gonna launch it and tweet it out?
I refuse to comment on.
Okay, because that's what I did the first couple of times, and I fell in the crapper.
All right. I want to talk to you some more. Would that be okay if we talk a little bit more about launch parties?
Yeah, absolutely. And get some guests to come on and all that, and like I said, help you out. I want because those, especially when you first launch and they put you in the new listings section on Indiegogo, that is when you got to get them, because then you'll go in, like as the weeks go on, you'll get into that little lull. And it'll drop off again, and then you'll get towards the end. It'll be like ending soon, and you'll pick up again. So you got to get them like those first few days. That's going to, give you the, it's going to let you know where you're headed, You know,
Okay.
it's really important to have a strong launch. That's why I'm saying, you know, I'm glad you know, that I'm really glad that I'm accumulating this mailing list for you know, for Way of the Gun. You know, so like I'm really excited about that. And you know, people are reaching out. I was like, man, I can't wait for brand book 2. I can't wait to get the physical copies because I can't wait to ship all this stuff out and get, like I said, this whole apartment is going to be full with my crappy comics.
A few thousand books.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be what? I know we're printing like 4,000. Yeah, we're printing like 4,000 books. So yeah, it's gonna be.
Is it gonna fit in your apartment?
I mean, the good thing is my fiance left me, so she took a lot of her furniture, and so there's a lot of empty spaces where her stuff used to be, and I just never bothered to. So I was like, oh, her little cabinet thing used to be there, so that's going to be a bunch of like Gemini mailers, and it's going to be, you know, T-shirts and all the stuff that people bought from the campaign.
Well, I know how much space 50 books take up. I can only imagine 4,000.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Imagine 1,000 hand puppets, 2,000.
I'm pulling up gang signs here. Okay, I'm getting a little too crazy. But again, guys, I will chop it up with Preston, and we will see, can't we help him launch Rockabilly Roadtrip in a fine and proper fashion, as my friends across the pond would say. I think that would, you know, because like I said, it's very important to have a good launch, and you know, definitely keep working. The mailing list thing is definitely a good thing. Hopefully, a few more people have signed up just after seeing you here on the channel today. And is there anything? Is there anything that you or Jesse would like to say as we close this bad boy out here?
I would say, Preston, see if you can book the Hustler Club in New Orleans. Put Antonio on the VIP list.
Rick's Cabaret.
We'll get him on the pole. We'll raise some dollars.
Oh no, I'm on the pole.
Put Power Bottom up there. Power Bottom gets on the pole.
Oh my God, y'all got me out here working in these streets, man. I can't do that. That's not good, man.
See, I'm starting to get bothered, a little hot and bothered over here.
Oh man, yeah, I'm rubbing my nipples and everything. Yeah, this is not good. Oh yeah. Oh God, this is not good. But Mr. Asevedo, what about yourself there? And,
check out Roadtrip. Go ahead and sign up for the mailing list, and look out for Doc Salem. Doc Salem's coming back.
And well, Doc Salem is definitely coming back. I'm excited to see that one because
going to do a brand Doc Salem pinup. We'll see what happens with that too.
That would be, I'm very curious to see that. Oh, okay. Anyway, all right, guys, we are going to get out of here. My thanks to the great Preston Asevedo for joining us here, and Jesse Robluski. I can't pronounce your name, brother. How do you say that?
Robluski.
Jesse Robluski. Blah, 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 blah. But anyway, the link again to the mailing list for Rockabilly Roadtrip is in the description. You can get that. You can also see my list, my mailing list sign up for brand Way of the Gun, which will be launching within the next few weeks. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap this one up. As always, you can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel. Everywhere is at Akari Press. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm out.